Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to do another Scottish beer while I'm here at home. So for this one we're going to head over to Edinburgh, and this is a brewery who are pretty highly regarded in fact. So we're going to return to Stewart Brewing for my third review if I'm not mistaken, and this one is their Ka Pai, which is a 5.2% Pacific Pale Ale, a New Zealand hopped Pale Ale essentially this one. If you've seen my series in New Zealand reviews that I did when I was down there, the quality of beer that comes out of that country is ridiculous. It is really, really good, and the New Zealand hops are just something completely different. So it's really cool to see a Scottish brewery bringing these New Zealand hops into the country and using them up here. It should be a really nice beer, this one, and pretty much most of the stuff, or pretty much all of it to be honest, all of the stuff that comes out of Stewart Brewing is pretty damn good. So I'm really interested to try this one, and it's really cool to return to them. I always found these beers a bit difficult to get outside of Edinburgh, but they do seem to be in Sainsbury's now, so hopefully that's them starting to become a bit more readily available throughout the country. So we'll see how we get on with that, but I'm sure I'll return to Stewart soon after this review. But anyway, as is usual with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, link to my other Stewart reviews I've done before. I will return to these guys fairly soon, I'm sure, as well. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel is based on geography as well, so if you go in and search for a country, state or city, you can search for beer based on that criteria. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. Your support, as always, is hugely appreciated, and don't be scared to get in touch. Always good to hear from you guys. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Stewart Brewing. So Stewart Brewing was founded by Steve Stewart and his wife Jo, and Steve is actually a graduate, like many brewers in Scotland are, of the Heriot Watt Brewing and Distilling Programme, and he'd actually worked for several breweries before establishing his own one. He worked for Base Brewery in Ireland and in Birmingham in England, and also for Harpoon Brewery over in Boston in Massachusetts in America. But while working in Birmingham in 1998, Steve actually built his first microbrewery with the help of his father-in-law, who owns a steel fabrication company. But Steve basically wanted to return to Scotland, so he left his job with Base Brewing in Birmingham and moved to Edinburgh back in 2002, and he started putting things in place to form the microbrewery, and the production began officially in January 2004, with Steve having developed a lot of the trial brews and a lot of the recipes on his own microbrewery. But he had actually worked quite hard to secure a kind of bigger production facility, and he eventually settled on a location in the Bilston Glen Industrial Estate on the south side of Edinburgh, and I believe they are still based out there. But while this site was being completed, he had actually brewed some of his beers at Strathaven Brewery down in Straven to the south of Glasgow, and the first batch of beer was produced in late 2004. But since this brewery is founded, they've become very highly regarded in Scottish craft beer circles. They do some really, really nice session ales. Actually, I don't think I've tried a darker beer from these guys, which is I think the next thing I'll need to do from them, but they produce a lot of nice kind of big hoppy and quite sessionable beers. You can have a look on the brewery website and see all of the different things that they do, but these guys do some very nice hoppy ales. It's probably the kind of lighter side of things that these guys shine on, but that said, I haven't tried a darker beer. I don't know if they actually do a darker beer, to be honest, but that's something that I will look into for the next review, so you can expect something a bit different the next time I review a Stewart beer. So yeah, that's enough about the brewery just now. Let's actually get on to the tasting of this one itself. So I have the specs of the beer here. This one is a 5.2% pale ale, like I said. It's hopped with Green Bullet, Pacifica and Wakatu hops, all from New Zealand, and it's got wheat and extra pale malts in it, so it should be very nice. They've actually just changed their artwork recently from what I can see, and I think Stewart Brewing have done that. I think this is maybe the third time they've done that. It could be the second though, but they've changed it to this nice, I don't know if that's a pelican, the bird that's on this one, just taking in all the hop flowers. But it's very nicely presented, this one. The last time I saw this beer, if I remember, it was just a kind of sort of flat colour it had with this kind of thing in the middle of it. It didn't have this nice artwork that it has now. Maybe they've just done that for actually putting it in the supermarkets. Like I said, these guys have actually done a deal with Sainsbury's to get their beer around the country, which is good because it was always hard to find the Stewart beers outside of Edinburgh. But you can see very, very nicely presented, and this one tells you a little bit of it on the side. It's got the Twitter and things like that, the website and all of this, and there is the Stewart Brewing bottle cap, which I think has also changed if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this one should be really nice, so we'll get it out into the glass and see how we get on. Nice smoky opening on this one as we get it open. and we'll get it out and into the glass. And I tell you something, when you pour this one, you really can smell some of the nice fruits that you get from these New Zealand hops. The New Zealand hops, I always found, have a very kind of punchy, fruity character, often citrusy, but often kind of, it's just got a very kind of tropical, juicy fruit to it as well. So yeah, these ones should be really interesting. As you can see, this beer is poured a really nice kind of hazy golden colour. It looks lovely. There's a half finger of a frothy white head on this one. That's going to fade away and just be a very thin foamy layer in fact, but there's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there, but that looks really nice. I'll just turn on this light and let you see the proper colour of this one briefly. There you can see the camera's adjusted. It's a very bright, nice golden colour. That's one of the things that's difficult in this room a little bit, is just to let you see the proper colour of the beer, but it looks absolutely lovely. So let's have a look at the aroma of this one then. And that smells really nice actually. From the aroma, I'm actually getting a nice orangey, citrusy base to this one. That's really interesting. It's almost a little bit like marmalade, but it's not, maybe not quite as sharp and as juicy, but there's definitely a sort of orangey character to this one. You've got that typical, almost kind of like cloudy fruit juice aroma coming off of this one. But yeah, it's really nice and fruity. The orange in this one, from what I remember, it should come from the Pacifica. The Pacifica always had a nice kind of orangey character to it. I've not had too many beers with that hop in it, but it's one that I really like. I always love the Amarillo hop from America, and from what I gather, the Pacifica one from New Zealand has the same kind of, has some similar attributes to it. So you're getting some nice orange from that, but you can smell the juicier kind of fruits coming out of this one. There's a bit of lemon and lime in there too, a sort of lemon limey character, which will come from the Wakatu as well. And there's floral kind of grassy character coming out of it, which is the green bullet. You get a bit of floral character from all of these hops, and you should get some kind of richer pine resins from the green bullet. I'd never really heard of the green bullet hop, so I looked that one up before doing the video, and you should get some piney resins from that, but I'm not picking that up in this beer, to be honest. This one's more fruity, but you're almost getting some of these kind of citra, almost the same kind of fruits that you get from the citra hop, you know, a little bit of like lychees or gooseberries or something like that. You can pick that up a little bit in this beer. I'm throwing a little bit over the side of the glass. But yeah, for me it's a nice orangey base. You can get these kind of lemon limey characters in it as well. It's got a good floral aromaticity to it, not so much in the way of pine resins as you should get from the green bullet, but there's some nice kind of pale malts. It does have a bit of a bready malt base to it. When it's got wheat malt and it's got these pale malts in it, that's something that you should expect actually. But it smells nice. Just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one before you try it. The New Zealand hops always give you some really interesting notes. So let's get stuck into this guy then. This is the Ka Pai, basically a New Zealand pale ale if you like, from Stewart Brewing Company over in Edinburgh, Scotland. Yeah, that's a nice beer. It's actually a lot less kind of pungent than I was expecting. This one's really nice and light and sessionable. That's the thing about this beer. Yeah, this one is very, very juicy in its mouthfeel. I would say that's the first thing you're going to notice about this beer. It's just how juicy it is. It works really nicely. Yeah, that's really good. So in the middle of the palate you've got a nice kind of wheaty malt base that just goes right across the middle of your tongue, and you can feel a little bit of the pale malt in there. When you move into the aftertaste, you feel the malt base just thinning out a little bit, but on top of it you've definitely got some of these kind of thicker wheaty characters, which are very nice. Sorry, my computer is giving me a little bit of a trouble when I'm filming this review, but you can get this really nice malt base to it actually, and it suits the hops very well. Yeah, that's nice. I was expecting this one just to be really, really fruity and really, really bitter, but they've gone for the more kind of juicy side of this beer, and it works. It really works very, very well. Yeah, This one's nicely done. I was expecting a bit more orangey citrus from this one based on the aroma, but this is very, very good. The Pacifica, I always remember giving you some orange, and just behind the front curve of the tongue you can get a little bit of that, but this one really is more along the lines of the sort of, it is kind of these fruits that you kind of expect a little bit from the Citra hop, the juicier kind of things. Obviously there's no Citra in this one, but it does remind me of that a little bit. You've got some of these kind of lemon limey characters that you'd expect from the Wakatu hop in there as well, but it's mainly the kind of juicier tropical fruits. It's a little bit of lychee like they say, and I think it's gooseberries as well. That's what's really standing out in this one for me. But you can really get around the edges of the palate, there's a lot of nice floral character to this one. I think the floral character in this is just a little bit, almost a little tiny bit earthy or herbal as well. You can pick up that in this beer as well. Yeah, this is a damn good beer actually. The nice kind of floral character just gives you that kind of dry edge to this beer. It's actually quite crisp, which works quite well. It's one of the things I always enjoy about the New Zealand hops as well. They just work so well. That's one of the good things there. There's so many hop varieties popping up because of crossbreeding and things like that, but there's no natural predators for hops in New Zealand, which is why they produce so many and they turn out so well. But that's a damn good beer. Another very, very solid one from Stewart Brewing. I need to try more of these kind of pale ales and stuff that they do, because there are quite a few of them these days. But this one is really quite nice actually. So yeah, back corner of the palate, maybe there's a little tiny bit of earthiness. As you come further forward though, mainly kind of an almost dark floral character, but there is an element of herbal kind of thing to it there. Around the front curve of the tongue it's a bit more grassy, and like I say, as you go to that little oily bubble behind the front of the tongue there, that's where the fruitiness comes out. I think there's a bit of an orange base to it. On top of that you've got some of the lemon limey character, but really the prominent fruits in this one for me it's lychee and gooseberry. It really is. It does say some things on the bottle here. Yeah, it says mango, lychee and gooseberry, and that is biscuity as well. I'm not sure if I would say biscuity about this one. I think it's a bit more kind of wheaty. You can get a little bit of the wheaty character in there and the breadiness on this one. I can get the lychee and the gooseberries, but I'm not so much getting the mangoes out of this one. Mangoes for me are always a little bit more juicy. I would say this one really is more lychee and gooseberry. And I think there's a bit of orange just underneath that as well, and the lemon limey characters there as well. I mean, you can talk about the different fruits all day. The main point is that this is a really nice beer. The malt base goes with it as well. You've got that bready character in there with a little bit of the kind of cereal thing going on, but it works very, very well. If you want to try a Stewart beer for the first time, this is definitely a good place to start. The Holyrood is very good as well. I think that was a golden ale if I remember correctly, but I remember that being a very good beer too. In terms of the mouthfeel, this one, I'd say this is mid-bodied. It's got a smooth carbonation to it, but at the same time it does have a little bit of crispness, and that helps bring out the slightly different floral characteristics that you'll get from these New Zealand hops. There's a little bit of an oily feel to it as well, which suits it. It helps bring out these kind of juicy or tropical fruits that you get in the beer. Hoppy bitterness isn't too much. It gets a little bit dry into the aftertaste, but overall it's not too big, and the malt base in this is really quite smooth. But the main point of this review is that this is a pretty damn good beer from Stewart Brewing. So like I said, if you've never tried one of these beers before, this could be a good place for you to start. The Holyrood is also a very kind of solid beer, but I need to try more of the beers from Stewart Brewing and see how I get on with them, because they have got quite a big range today. But the big problem I had with Stewart was that they were quite difficult to get a hold of, but I definitely want to do more. So yeah, make sure you check out this brewery. If you find yourself in Scotland, particularly in Edinburgh, make sure you pick up some of these beers and have a go at them. It's really cool to return to Stewart after a while again. So yeah, until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Thank you for watching my reviews. I hope you've enjoyed them. Please consider subscribing if you have enjoyed them, and let me know your own thoughts on this beer and brewery in the comments section below, and don't be scared to leave me some suggestions for beers as well. Always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos. This is the Ka Pai, a really nice kind of New Zealand pale ale from Stewart Brewing Company in Edinburgh. Very, very solid beer. Definitely worth checking out. Until the next time, Slanger just now, make sure you go and check out some of the Stewart Brewing's beer. They do some really, really nice sessionable pale ales. Slanger just now.